Hey, welcome back to another episode of our Limitless TV series all about social media. We've done 2 episodes so far, and those we're looking at Think Before You Post, that was episode 1, and last episode was all about Jesus using social media. But in fact, we realised that we're just using social media for Jesus. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at time and addiction and how that works for social media.
Speaking of time and addiction, have you played my new favourite game? It's called Toon Blast.
What's Toon Blast?
So Toon Blast is like Candy Crush. Remember Candy Crush?
Yeah, can't remember it.
So basically you get like different coloured squares and you've got to join them up, and it sounds silly, but honestly, man, I'm addicted to it.
Well, hey, probably a good job I haven't heard of it, and I'm going to keep it that way, I think.
Okay.
But for so many of us, we get addicted to things on our phone, and just like Joel, Toon Blast is one of them. And, you know, we all spend probably way too much time on our phone. And so, you know, the average person spends between 3 and 4 hours a day on their phone.
Wow.
It's a lot, huh?
That's high.
But young people spend up to 8 hours a day on their phone. And that's probably just an average, so some probably spend way more than 8 hours as well.
I wonder what our screen time is.
Should we have a look?
Let's have a look.
I bet mine is probably, hopefully, better than yours.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Okay, go on, you go first.
Okay. So I don't think mine's too bad. It's 4 hours and 37 minutes.
That's not bad, it's just above the average, and
Okay.
depends whether you cast yourself as young still.
What?
Mine, to be honest with you, is pretty bad.
Okay, what is
Are
it?
you ready?
Yeah.
8 hours and 22 minutes. That's
Ouch.
bad.
Ouch. Well, you're above average. Should I congratulate you for being above average?
I don't want to know. Let's not.
Okay,
And so,
let's not.
the thing is, right, we all have moments where we get consumed by our phones, where we get distracted by what's going on about them. Joel, you okay, mate?
So I'm just taking a selfie for Instagram.
Oh.
Sorry, I got distracted. Sorry.
And sure.
Put it away.
Put it away.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like Joel, you have moments where you get distracted from the things that you're supposed to be doing. Even from God, our phones can become a real distraction. And so we want to talk about today how you can manage your time and ask God for self-control in order that we can use our time well and not be addicted by our phones.
Absolutely, Matt. See, Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians 4:18, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal.
That's good.
See, what Paul's telling us here is that the things of this world they're gonna fade away.
Yeah.
You know, our phone contracts are gonna run out. Our phones are gonna break and get old. They'll get cracks in them and everything. Our followers are going to unfollow us. We're going to fluctuate in how many likes we get per post. These things are temporary. But Jesus is not.
Yeah.
See, Jesus isn't going to run out of contract.
No.
Jesus isn't going to break.
No.
Jesus isn't going to unfollow you, and Jesus is going to like all of you. And he's never going to stop doing that. Jesus is forever everlasting. He's forever mighty. Jesus is forever God, and he isn't going to change. And so we need to keep our eyes not on the things that are going to fade away, but on the thing that is never going to fade away and is never going to change, which is Jesus. So that doesn't mean that we can't use social media and TV and watch TV and stuff like that. Because as we learned in the last episode, social media can be used for amazing good. Yeah. But we've got to make sure that we're not being distracted by the things of this world, but in fact our focus is always on Jesus.
That's so good. And you know what? That reminds me of this verse in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. And it says these words. It says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us fearful, but gives us power, love, and self-control."
It's good news.
That is good news. And so, just as Joel got distracted earlier taking a selfie, he needed a little bit more self-control. We sometimes need to ask God to give us that self-control. But the good thing is, we don't just ask him to give it to us. He's also with us when we need it. Like he's there helping us along in our journey. And so you might need to at home just spend a few moments asking God, "Hey God, would you give me some self-control with my phone? With my social media, I spend way too much time on it, but I don't want to get distracted anymore." But the thing is, Joel, we need to take some practical steps as well.
Yeah.
And so that might mean that we need to set some limits on how long we even are able on our phone. And so on your phone, you can use apps or other ways to limit the amount of time you spend on certain things. And so maybe that's on Instagram, maybe that's on TikTok. You just need to set a time limit. Maybe that's half an hour, whatever works best for you, that's less and going to be less distracting from what God wants to talk to you about. But remember, we're not doing this alone, we're doing it with God.
Yeah, that's such great advice, Matt. And another tip that we could use is maybe in the mornings, what's the first thing we reach for? I'll be honest, the first thing I reach for is Toon Blast. I love Toon Blast, and you all know how much I love Toon Blast. But actually, that's focusing on the temporary stuff.
Yeah.
What if, instead of waking up in the morning and grab my phone, I grab my Bible? And what if we grab an actual paper Bible, as opposed to our phones, so that we won't get distracted when notifications ping up? Because I know for me, if I'm reading something in the Bible and then someone likes a photo, I'm going to have a look at that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to get distracted.
Absolutely.
But what I want to do is remove all distractions, so that first thing in the morning, I'm focusing on Jesus and not social media.
That's so good. And so when we think about social media, we want to make sure that we focus on the things of God, because they are eternal rather than on the things of the world. But we also need to put some practical things in and ask God for self-discipline.
Absolutely.
And in Matthew 6:33 it says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you." And so our challenge to you is, are you going to seek first Jesus in everything you do? And does that mean you've got to put your phone down so that you can seek him first?